I would have him in this loop where I'm having sex with him and him, and they both know it. When I'm mad at him, I go to him. When I'm mad at him, I go to him. It's not a secret. It's not like I'm playing neither one, because they both know.
Yeah, every time I have sex with him,
you think of me so bad, so you trying
time.
to speak to me, right? You
Every
think of me
time.
so
All
bad,
you
you
do
down
is
to me, but you had sex with me too, so that means you like me, right?
Yeah.
You like me, right?
Oh, I like the way you do your thing.
Yeah,
That's what I like.
I know.
I like the way
fine.
you do your thing,
That's
baby.
fine.
That's all.
Mr. Sedano was in the courtroom today to clear his name from the allegations of his being a father. He believed he was done with Ms. Ramirez and no longer had any feelings for her. He even climbed, and she was trying to pin the baby on him.
Mr. Sedano, you are seeking the results of a paternity test for Ms. Ramirez's 1.5-month-old daughter, Aislinn. You claim you two broke up and now you have no feelings for Ms. Ramirez whatsoever. You say she's claiming you are her baby's father in a fraudulent attempt to try to get you to come back to her.
Yes, Your Honor.
Apparently, Mr. Sedano was Ms. Ramirez's everything, from her first love to her first boyfriend and basically everything after that. She was pretty hurt that he would want to deny her and her daughter.
I'm very shocked. I'm very hurt that he would even deny her. He's my first love. He's my first boyfriend, my first everything. And I'm tired of him sending me mixed signals. He comes to my house and he tells me he doesn't love me. He doesn't want to be with me, but yet he's always trying to hug up on me. He tries to sleep with me. And I've even tried to prove it. I've proved it multiple times to his girlfriend.
What you're about to hear will definitely make you ask if Ms. Ramirez was a child, because only kids would do something so petty. Apparently, Ms. Ramirez was in contact with his girlfriend. After she and Mr. Sedano had split up, she told his new girlfriend that she was going to sleep with him regardless.
I told her that I was gonna sleep with him and she told me to prove it. So when we were having sex, I called her on the phone so that she could hear.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You got on the phone with his girlfriend.
Yes.
I gotta get this.
With a smile on his face, Mr. Sedano didn't deny that it happened. But that wasn't his focus in the courtroom. He was here to talk about his doubts. It was pretty funny because Mr. Sedano and Ms. Ramirez were still very intimate while he still had a girlfriend.
I was with my girlfriend when it did, and I have pretty much my list of doubts of why I pretty much think Aislinn's not mine.
So despite the fact that you're admitting that you do still sleep with Ms. Ramirez, even though you're in another relationship?
Yes, it happened. I slipped up one night.
Just that one night?
No, all the time.
Well, it was
All the
daytime,
time.
but yes.
Mr. Sedano couldn't even keep his stories in check. Funny enough, the child in question wasn't the only child he had with Ms. Ramirez. He had 2 other kids in the equation, but was very certain that the current child in question was definitely not his.
You went to visit your children and end up visiting your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, and I had pretty much fallen victim that day.
You fell victim.
How are you falling a victim when you're the one that initiates
Fell
it?
victim.
He's the one that initiates it.
You admit to having sex with her,
Yes.
but you claim the child in question, Aislinn, is not yours.
Mr. Sedano had a long list of doubts that made him feel he couldn't be the father of her 3rd child. He claimed the pregnancy happened way too fast, and he was sure the period they both had sex didn't aid up to her getting pregnant.
Like, there was a year difference between my son and my daughter, and then she had this 3rd kid, which I wasn't even around her that much long of a time to even for me to be the father. And if I was, why wouldn't she put me on the...
So you're saying that when you were with her, when you all were in a relationship, it took a year to conceive your first child.
Yes.
And then your second child, it took 6 months.
6 months.
So you're saying this just came up too fast.
It was a blaming contest in the courtroom, and they were very good at playing it. Ms. Ramirez claimed he never enjoyed spending time with her kids. She said every time he came to pick them up, he was always so eager to drop them off.
How I can take the kids, but can you do this for me?
No,
That's
it's
not why
never
I'm
like
there.
that. I let him take the kids. He'll say he's gonna take the kids for a few days. He calls me hours later talking about, I need to drop them off. I need to go do something. He doesn't like to keep them. So I am more comfortable with him watching them at my house.
The cats started to fly out of the box, and Ms. Ramirez started to come clean about why she had actually decided to get pregnant. She was very jealous of Mr. Sedano's new girlfriend, and the moment she found out she was pregnant, she decided to have his child too.
Maybe my super conscious mind. I did it to get back at her, which is, I feel bad for it. I love my daughter and I got pregnant for the wrong reasons, but that's why I did it.
So is that why you had an ovulation calendar?
You admitted to the court that you
I
keep
have an
calendar
ovulation calendar because I keep track of my monthly cycle.
There's no reason an innocent child should be suffering because of the mistakes adults make. At this point, you sort of feel sorry for the little child in question. Anyway, it's time to see what the DNA results say about all of this.
Mr. Cedeno, you are her father.
I told you, she is your baby. Now you can't deny her. She's your kid.
What would you do if you saw a girl wearing tight pants? Would you slide into her bed by selling dreams of wedding bells, as the man did in this case? Mr. Wiggins rolled up in court seeking Judge Lake's help to get back his family.
Mr. Wiggins, you are here in court to prove that you are not the father of Ms. Davis's child, Aubree Wiggins, and say today's results will change your life.
As a result of being alleged the father of Aubree, I lost my wife and I want to regain my family.
You lost your family? You were married at the time? Explain.
Yes, Your Honor, I was married.
Wow. A brief separation gave him the pass to sleep with another woman. It turned out that in no time, he was up to jiggery-pokery with Ms. Davis. Yet he wanted to free himself from accusations of being a father to a baby girl.
We was never together.
Almost 2.5 years?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I was
ma'am.
married, Your Honor. I mean,
Yeah, married, but
it just, it kind of went longer than it should have.
But your hope is that if you can prove that Aubree is not your biological child, that you can convince your ex-wife.
Further, the defendant claimed that they had been in a committed relationship for 2 years. The man admitted to manipulating and lying to this young lady for his gain, yet blaming her was the reason he lost track of his family. Oh my.
I knew I was in a relationship.
You did?
2.5
We were
years we
not.
was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
Obviously,
in a short
And
period
you might have gotten more than you bargained
Right,
for, right?
he did. He did, a child.
And so why did you think you were in a relationship, Ms. Davis?
He stated that multiple times.
Was he telling you there was going to be a future?
Yes.
The next Judge Lake hopped into the pregnancy. It slipped out that Mr. Wiggins' mistress wanted his wife out of his life because she expected to have her whole life with him. So he put on his deception hat and duped baby mama like this.
I asked her to let me tell my wife, and of course, because she wanted my wife out of the picture, because she did want more.
You're right. I wanted more because that's what you presented.
And I was good to her, because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her. So I did what I had to do, I felt I needed to do.
Like 2.5 years, how we're not together.
Things happen or said in the bedroom that may not always be.
However, he asserted that Miss Davis approached his wife on Facebook and disrupted his married life. Oh man, are you out of your mind? I mean, he has no control over his desires, and yet, has the defendant been inoculated for the havoc? That just makes no sense.
Miss Davis told her that she was pregnant and that she wasn't going anywhere. She inboxed her on Facebook, which
Right.
caused a lot of havoc in my life.
You wasn't gonna be a man.
Did it cause the havoc or did you cause the
He
havoc?
did.
Miss Davis immediately was like, "Well, it doesn't matter what nobody else think. Oh, I ain't going nowhere."
Right,
there was
because you
this-
lay down with
this-
me.
Okay, so the next chronicles of Wiggins started. He claimed that she had been busy with another man at the time she conceived the baby because he sent some text messages on her phone. So that's why he was denying paternity.
We got into a bit of an altercation. I don't remember the exact details. And my family member seen her be picked up by another guy
That was my cousin.
that
I
she
wasn't
claims
romantic.
to be her cousin, ending that night. And so it pissed me off to see her, this guy saying
Well,
he
we're
wanted
not
to have
together,
lovers, so
but
now
you
I waste
wanted to
all
have
this
a good
money.
night.
And then you're telling me, okay, that, I have a baby by you when you're sleeping with another guy. That's what made me
I never
mad.
slept with no one.
To prove his sham show right, the alleged father brought an exhibit to the court. He alleged that Miss Davis had fabricated his name on the birth certificate, but how she forged his name was quite interesting.
Because I was married, I wasn't just supposed to go on her birth certificate.
But
there
you
was
placed
supposed to be a
yourself on there.
paternity established. I did not.
Hey, what, this birthday issue is just a typo?
That he wrote.
Do you think he wrote his wrong birthday on purpose?
Right, and because
What? No,
when
Your Honor.
I seen it, when we got the birth certificate, I let him know that whatever he signed it wrong.
Until now, it was apparent that Mr. Wiggin was a compulsive liar who made sham allegations about baby mama, and he was clowning just to defend himself. Further, it came out that they were still sleeping together.
At the same time, two different answers.
Right,
Exact same time.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
last night.
No, Your Honor, we was at separate hotels. No, Your Honor, that's not true.
And you made your way to my hotel.
That is not true,
Right.
Your Honor.
Yeah, Judge Lake was right. He was playing on both sides of the fence, yet he contended that he wanted to get back his family. However, their back and forth did not help and made things more complicated, so the last hope to get closure was to reveal the DNA results.
In the case of Wiggins versus Davis, when it comes to 23-month-old Aubree Wiggins, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Wiggins, you are the father.
Ms. Lester believes Mr. Lewis denies fathering her 21-month-old son, Raiden, because she's refused to have sex with him anymore. But Mr. Lewis claims it's because Ms. Lester was openly sleeping with other men.
Ms. Lester, you opened this case against Mr. Lewis because you say he denies fathering your 21-month-old son, Raiden.
Yes, Your Honor.
Only because you won't have sex with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis, you claim Ms. Lester was openly sleeping with several men.
I'm curious to see what Mr. Lewis and Ms. Lester have in the bag today. There's a 21-month-old baby involved, and while Mr. Lewis says he is not the father, Ms. Lester insists he is. Let's find out more.
We planned my son.
We did not plan a baby.
Yes, we did.
No, we did not.
We've also never used a condom. We talked about having a baby numerous times, so this is all new to me on why he's not claiming my son.
So you're denying the baby?
No, I'm not denying a baby. It's just Jatoya Lester, she just always lying. She's known the street to be a hoe.
These two have no filter and no respect for each other. Mr. Lewis knew Ms. Lester was known to sleep around. Why then did he continuously have unprotected sex with her? Why? Let us find out.
Seen her at a grocery store one day. She was with another man then, so I didn't say nothing. When I seen her on Facebook, I inboxed her. She inboxed me back, saying all guys want to do is have sex. I lied and said no, so that same
He was in a
exact-
relationship at the time, Your Honor.
that same exact night, I went over her house, we had sex.
They met up after a long time when they were both seeing other people. Then, out of the blue, they confessed love to each other and decided to have a baby? Now, this story is just ridiculous.
He thought I was playing when I said I was pregnant.
I never thought.
Yes, you did, because you kept saying you ain't pregnant, you ain't pregnant.
I
Yes, you
never
did.
thought- I never
Correction.
thought you
Yes,
was
you
playing.
did.
No, I
and
never thought you
then
was playing.
the day I had my son, I did not call him because he knew the day that I was having my son because I had to get a cesarean operation.
She's lying.
Ms. Lester told another man that he was the father of her son. In fact, this man was at the hospital during the birth and he signed the birth certificate. Why then is Ms. Lester suddenly pinning the paternity of her son on Mr. Lewis?
I had sex to the other man 2 weeks prior to him getting me finding out I was pregnant.
So why isn't the other man here too?
Because we did a test and it came back that he was not his father. And he knew that because it was posted on social media. So upon the results being posted on social media.
For what reason did she post paternity results on social media? That's insane. Guess she wanted everyone to know the other guy wasn't the father of her child, but it still doesn't make sense.
I've been shot multiple times to where the doctors have pumped so much medicine in my body, and they told me that I couldn't have kids at all.
And since that time, you haven't fathered any other children.
No.
And that's why you feel Raiden is not your biological child.
First of all, Yana, he doesn't even look like me.
It's funny how people choose to hold back important details that could help the case go on faster. Up until now, why didn't anyone mention Mr. Lewis's possible sterility and Ms. Lester's fiancé? These should be the final pieces to complete the puzzle.
When I got in the picture, Raiden was already, I'd say, 3 to 4 months.
So you don't believe you can't be, what, no, actually, that still doesn't matter because if you've been 10 years on and off.
Not sexually though, Yana. This is just.
You believe it.
He knows, and then like I said, I'm really here for support, really.
Well, well, well. Ms. Lester's got herself a good fiancé willing to step up and care for Raiden regardless of who his father is. But we can't figure out how Ms. Lester has been sleeping around while being in a 10-year-old relationship. How do you decide to have a baby with another man when you are engaged to someone else? It doesn't add up.
At the beginning of this year, that's when we decided to be serious with this relationship.
How can she be serious when she just hit me 2 weeks ago?
I called
Bucket
him.
naked.
What?
Bucket naked.
I'm always.
Bucket naked.
I'm
You
always
the tub while he's out of town, trying to get me to come have sex with her.
Do you have proof?
It must be a hell of a ride to be engaged to a woman like Ms. Lester. She claims she and her fiance decided to be committed to each other at the start of the year, but just 2 weeks before this case, she hit on Mr. Lewis.
It's a real joy to me. I developed this bond with him. He's developed a bond with my family. He's been around all of my family, and they all just love him to death.
And you come and get him every weekend?
Every other week I come and get him. He got clothes and everything at my house.
And you have fallen in love, completely in love?
Totally in love with him.
Mr. Lewis's mom has formed a bond with the baby. Raiden spends time with their family, and Grandma doesn't want that taken away from her. Sadly, only the results can determine if Grandma's gonna get her wish or not.
I mean, he claimed that he didn't have a father when he was growing up. I don't want that for my son. Off of the decisions and the mistakes that I've made in the past. All we can do from our mistakes is learn from them and make sure that we don't make them again.
Hope he come back mine. You know, if he come back mine, I'm gonna be in his life and do what I need to do as a father.
Indeed, it'll be a miracle baby. And if there is one thing we know about paternity court, it is that miracles are always happening here. This is the most miraculous court in the world. The results are in. Let's find out whose baby Raiden is.
Mr. Lewis, you are not the father.
Can I say this? I made a mistake.
Ms. Ebony Parker appears before the judge suing Mr. Morton and his girlfriend, Miss Lemon. The lawsuit is for them denying the paternity of her child, Aaron, after having sex with both of them severally. She claims that the man's girlfriend turned him against her because she has been unable to get pregnant herself.
Ms. Parker, in your suit, you claim Mr. Morton fathered your 7-month-old son, Aaron, while in a relationship with his current girlfriend.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say the only reason he denies paternity is because his girlfriend turned him against you because she's been unable to conceive a child with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow, that's just crazy. Ms. Lemon says she and her boyfriend had sex with his baby mama because Ms. Parker was lonely. Also, she says her freakiness led her to make such a decision.
The only reason why she was able to have sex with us is because I asked my boyfriend to have sex with her because she was lonely. My desires, me and my little freakiness, I said, my boyfriend, can you have sex with your pregnant baby mother because she's in need?
It appears that Aaron was born when the pregnancy was 7 months old, and that made the calculations a bit confusing. However, the accuser is confident about her claims, and there is nothing in this world that's going to change her mind.
I'm not tripping off of that. I know that that's my son's father. I know. He looks exactly like my other son.
And so you're doubtful, Mr. Morton, because you say there's a timing issue.
Yes, she
So I wanna
supposed to have got
understand your
pregnant
doubt.
in May, but from my understanding, that's only would be 7 months if she
I
had my
never
son
said I
in.
got pregnant in May, Your Honor.
Oh, damn! In the heat of the moment, Ms. Lemon says Ms. Parker's boyfriend swears that he's Aaron's father, but the accuser had to continuously remind him that he's not, and that she had sex with him while she was already pregnant.
We down, yep, I'm clocking it.
You
Just
can't
like you
clock
clock
it, though,
mine. I
baby.
can.
You can't.
We
You
downtown.
can't clock
The
it.
guy walks up to her, they talking and everything, and he swears up and down Aaron is his. She had to keep reminding him that it's not yours, boo, it's not yours. I had sex with you after he was already in my stomach.
Exactly.
Is Mr. Morton actually Aaron's father, or is Ms. Parker just forcing her son or him? At this point, that remains a mystery. I mean, there seems to be a lot of uncertainty in the courtroom, and for some reason, I don't believe a word coming out of their mouth.
Before my boyfriend went away, I was pregnant by him. That's what they're getting confused. I had a whole miscarriage, Your Honor. A whole miscarriage by this man.
Now all of a sudden.
This was before, though. This is before I got pregnant
He was only
again.
locked up
You're right.
a
He
month or
wasn't even
something.
away when I was pregnant.
After she got pregnant, she told him it wasn't his because she had a sonogram saying she was 13 weeks pregnant. However, when she went for her first prenatal appointment, a fetal test confirmed that she was 8 weeks pregnant instead.
I told him I was pregnant, and I did. I'm not gonna lie. I told him, this is not your baby. Being as though I have a sonogram telling me I'm 13 weeks. So when I go to my first prenatal appointment, and they give me a fetal assessment, and they say, no, miss, you're 8 weeks pregnant.
Aha! Now, when she showed him the pregnancy sonogram, he didn't believe her. In fairness, how could he? Although he didn't follow her for the appointments, he was there when she gave birth to Aaron. bittersweet is what I would call that.
You still had doubts. Did you participate? You have a child with her already. Did you
Yes.
participate in the birth? Were you there through the pregnancy?
I didn't
Were
go
you-
to none of the appointments. I ain't show up to none of the doctor's appointments, but I was there with
I have
Dad.
evidence.
He's talking about
I have a picture of him holding my son when he first came out.
Jerome, may I see that, please?
The accuser filed a lawsuit against him for harboring feelings for her son, but not accepting his responsibilities over him. Perhaps she's right for filing a lawsuit against him for showing affection to the baby, but not taking full responsibility for his well-being.
This feeling that he steps up to the plate and takes care of other people's children,
Yeah, so
but
why
does
should
not properly take care of baby Aaron is the basis of your suit.
Right.
You're suing for $2,047 in child care expenses, things you've spent on baby Aaron.
Ms. Mary, the defendant's mother, appears before the judge to testify that he didn't do anything for the first child when he was born, so she doesn't want him to repeat the same ill act for Aaron. His mom genuinely believes that the newborn is his kid, and that's why she's appearing before the judge to testify.
For the most part, as far as support system, when she first had baby Aaron, she did not have anything because we were supposed to try to get together a baby shower. So she did have him early. So as far as support system, it was me and my daughter, which is Eric's sister,
And her
Mr.
mother.
Morton's sister.
And her mother.
And excuse me, I'm talking.
It don't matter.
It does.
It don't.
Is Mr. Morton's mother right about her testimony? Is he right about not his claims of not being Aaron's biological father? Let's find out together.
Mr. Morton, you are Aaron's father.
Thank you. I told you, like, I'm not no. Come on. Thank you. I need that paper so I can go down child support tomorrow morning when I get up.